Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be filming for you guys an updated highlighting, contouring, and foundation routine, just because my foundation routine has changed, and it always changes, to be completely honest with you. And I wanted to show you what I do now versus what I did before. So if you want to go check out my previous video of my foundation highlighting and contouring routine to see the changes that I've made, then go watch that. I'll leave a link in the description box below so you can check that out. But for now, we're going to focus on 2016. I start off with primer, so I'm going to use this NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer, and I just apply. Okay, I need more. Oh, it's jumping out all over the place. So I just take this much on my finger. I rub it together. Now I'm going to inform you that this goes on kind of ashy. You're going to look like a ghost because it goes on white. Okay, I have to clip my hair back because this is gonna annoy me. So lately I have been using a damp beauty sponge. This is not a beauty blender. I actually got this beauty sponge from Forever 21. That's just where I got it from. And it works really, really good. I also got this one from Forever 21 as well. I like to use the bottom of this to apply the foundation, and I like to use this area of the beauty sponge for concealer. And I'll show you like the brushes as I go along and all the stuff that I use. So I'm going to use the NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation, and I'm just going to shake it up and make sure all of the product is blended together before I pump it onto the back of my hand, because I don't want like the oil to come out and then like the color to start coming out and it just running everywhere. I don't need all that. So this foundation actually pumps out a little on the liquid side, so it's not really creamy, but it goes on so nicely. So I'm just going to take my beauty blender and dip it into the back of my hand and just start pressing it into my skin. When using a beauty blender, and I hate when people do this, is they swipe it across their face. That's not what it's supposed to be used for. It's supposed to be used as like a pressing motion. So please use it in a pressing motion. So right now it's looking kind of dark for my skin, but it's going to what they call oxidize, which means it's going to the color is going to change and blend into my skin tone once it finally settles into my skin and like the air hits it and everything.
You used to say forever, you and I, at night it was just you and me. And even though you lied, I know the truth. Yeah. Now I can count the many.
So right now I have on a pretty good layer of foundation, but I still see a little bit of blemishes peeking through from the foundation. So what I like to do, if I have excess foundation on the back of my hand, I just take it and go over those spots and it'll conceal them a little bit. I could just use a color correcting concealer, but I'm going to just use foundation for this video. My skin has been behaving surprisingly lately. I'm trying to cut out soda, I'm trying to cut out citrus stuff because it has a lot of acid in it. I'm just trying to live a healthier lifestyle. And another tip that I want to give you guys is to blend your foundation down your chin, your jawline, and your neck, because I have seen so many times girls will have this strict line going across their jawline of foundation, and then their neck is a completely different color. Like, what are you doing? Blend it out. It won't hurt you to just blend it out a little bit on your neck. You want everything to look like it's your skin, right? So why not blend it down into your neck? Okay, so for concealer, just because I don't feel like dealing with the whole brush, I'm going to use the NYX HD concealer. Normally Normally I would use this jar of concealer, but today I'm going to be lazy and use this one. This one is just a tad bit lighter than my skin tone, but not too light. So because it's a little light for my skin tone, I'm going to apply less product than I would if I used a darker concealer. So I like to draw little dots under my eyes. And then another thing that I see a lot of girls do is they stop right here when they do their concealer. They will just blend it right under their eyes, but that's not necessarily the incorrect way or the correct way. It's not really like the best way of doing your concealer, just because you're just highlighting right under your eyes. So basically, if you have dark circles or something under your eyes, you are highlighting those dark circles under your eyes. So what you want to do is take your concealer and drag it down a little bit and almost create like this triangle under your eyes, because it's highlighting that entire, okay, I need to apply less. It's highlighting that entire area under your eyes, because that's really where the light is hitting your face, right in this triangular area of your eyes. Highlight on your chin, so a little right here, on the bridge of your nose. Highlighting and contouring your nose makes your nose appear slimmer. Now my nose is a little chunky around the bottom part of it, so I'm just going to keep the product right here, and you'll see when I do my contour how much of a difference it makes. And then I like to highlight my forehead, only in the center. So right in between my brows and a little above it. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but on camera the light is actually hitting my forehead directly, and you can see that light like bouncing off of my forehead. That's where you want that concealer to be, because it's going to highlight that part of your face. So then I'm just going to take this sponge and start blending out all of that concealer. Okay, so now my concealer is blending out and I look like another ghost. So another trick I like to do is, if my concealer is, you know, all the way over here, or it's in other areas of my face where it's not supposed to be, I'll go back to using the same beauty sponge or brush, depending on what I'm using, and clean up those lines. Now this is the same sponge that I use for my foundation, so I'm kind of cleaning up those lines, and whatever product is left on this sponge I'm going to use to kind of conceal those harsh lines and kind of get the concealer back in the correct spot. Okay, moving on to contouring. So for contouring, like I said, I like to use this NYX palette, and I'm going to use this color right here, which is a lot darker than my skin tone, obviously. So what I'm going to do is take a smaller brush. So I'm going to use this really tiny brush that I have and take some of the product. I'm going to make a really weird face, and I'm just going to sculpt out the hollows of my cheeks. I'm just going to draw lines for now. So I highlighted the middle of my nose, so now I'm going to I'm going to contour the outsides of my nose. And the trick is, if you want your nose to look slimmer, you're going to make the lines closer together. So now, as far as the rest of my face, I'm going to take this angled brush that I got from Real Techniques, and this is the sculpting brush, and it's angled and nice and dense and fluffy at the same time. So I'm going to take this and blend the contour upward. The reason why I'm blending it upward is, for one, my contour is going to kind of blend upward anyway once I put the powder on, and also my blush is going to blend into that contour above that line as well. Another reason why you want to blend upward is because your contour line, you want it to be like nice and sharp, and you want it to show that you have this like indentation in your face. You don't want to blend it below the line, because then it's just going to start looking all crazy and just weird. So you're going to blend it upward. And I like using the brush, for one, it's really easy to control, and two, if I use a beauty blender with this, the beauty blender is going to take up to 60% of that makeup away. I've tried it before, and not only does it take away a lot of that contour shade, it also takes away my foundation, and then I have to reapply my foundation again, then reapply the contour. It is a lot of work using that beauty blender. So this is just what I prefer, but I like to use a brush because it's a little easier to control and to blend out.
In your car to learn of you, and I now live to believe that maybe there is.
Then I'm going to blend out the lines on my forehead, and for this part you can either like dab on it, you can blend it out. It doesn't really matter when it comes to the forehead. For me, I like my contour lines like in my face to be a lot darker than the contour lines on my forehead, just because I don't want people to be staring at my forehead and wondering why like there's so much darkness on my forehead. Like, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't need that. Contouring too also helps eliminate that 5 head that Tyra has. I don't have a large forehead, at least I hope I don't. But if you're somebody who has a large forehead, contouring it's for you, girl, because it will make your 5 head turn into a 4 head. So once that is done, now I'm going to set my face with banana powder. So I'm going to actually I like to use the inside of my Anastasia contour kit to put the powder on it, just because it's so much easier than using like a tissue or something. Okay, some people like to use their damp beauty sponge to set their powder. I like to use it too as well, but for today I'm going to use a dry beauty sponge or a wedge sponge and use that to set my highlighted areas. I notice sometimes when I use a beauty sponge though, for like a damp beauty sponge to set the powder on my face, it gets clogged up in the beauty sponge and it's hard for the product to even get on my face because it's so focused on being in this thing. So that's why I like to use a dry beauty sponge. It works just the same in my opinion. It's all about preference. So I like to first set under my eyes, and I like to look up to make sure that the powder is getting into those crease lines that I have under my eyes. And then once I get that area, then I just start setting the rest of it. Now it's looking really white right now, but it's going to look nice afterwards, I promise. Okay, then I'm going to set on the bridge of my nose. It's okay if it gets a little into that cream contour that you created, because we're going to use powder over it anyway. Then I'm going to set on my forehead. Just a little bit. Set on my chin. Maybe I need a little more on my forehead. Another thing I like to do is set right in the smile lines of my face, because I notice a lot that in pictures when I smile, I have these little lines that just like to creep up on me and they like to stay there, and I'm like, no, I can't have that in a photo. So I like to take some powder and put it right there so those lines don't show up. Basically, I'm highlighting my entire face, and I'm going to look crazy while doing it. Yep. Look at that nice little mustache and beard. One of my favorite parts about setting my concealed areas is cleaning up that contour line. Now, you probably can't even see this contour line right now, but you're going to see it once I put this banana powder underneath of it. So I like to take the back of my wedge and drag it right under, creating this nice sharp line underneath of that contour shade. Now, if you don't see the contour before you put this powder on, you will see it after you put the powder on underneath of it, because it's going to create a nice darkness in that area. And now you know where to apply your powder contour. Okay. So now I'm going to use my Anastasia contour kit, and I'm going to start using these contour shades. Now, the first one that I like to use is more of a grayer color in the palette, and this is called Havana. This one is supposed to create that shadow in your face. So what I'm going to actually do is, I'm going to use this brush because I've never used this brush before for my contour. So I'm going to use Havana, and I'm going to use this small brush. This is actually a concealer brush by e.l.f., but I'm going to use for contouring. I like to mix up my brushes, you know? So I'm getting right in the contour line. Now, I'm not doing all of this stuff because I'm not comfortable with my skin, just so you guys know. I'm doing it because I like to see the change that I can make in my face. I like to see what my face looks like once I go outside of its natural boundaries, you know? So I'm going to let this set and marinate in my face for a little bit, and then I'll be right back. So now what I'm going to do is dust away all the excess powder, and I'm going to use this MAC, I want to say this is a 187 brush, and this is the large duo fiber brush. As you can see, I used it already. So what I like to do is start blending out my chin area first and around my smile lines and dusting that away. And I'm telling you guys, when you use this stuff, it goes on as if it's going to come out yellow. You blend it away and it's like the same shade as your skin tone. It's amazing. And it also comes out really good in pictures too. Then on to highlighting. I'm going to use my liquid highlighter for the sake of this video. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit on the back of my hand, just a small amount. You don't want a lot. So then I'm going to take some on my finger and start dabbing it right above that contour line. And you have to work quick with this particular product because it dries so fast. So then I'm going to take my beauty blender and dab it out, because I don't want harsh lines when it comes to my highlighter. I want everything to blend together nicely. So I'm going to use this sponge, and it looks good. So I'm taking this bronzer or highlighter from Forever 21, and I'm just going to swirl it around a little bit and here, tap it off and kind of dust it right over top of my cheekbones, right where I applied the liquid illuminator. Now, this is going to really make your face glow. And then that's pretty much it. I'm going to set my face with this MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus spray. I just got like a little travel size. And it's going to set my face all day long. And it's also going to make my highlighter pop. So you're going to see it a lot better. I'm glowing. So guys, that concludes this foundation, highlighting, and contouring routine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up, and also comment below any videos that you want to see next. Until next time, I won't see you, but you will see me in my next video, so stay tuned.